you were saying you saw the Dark Side trailer.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing this after watching the first trailer since we haven't done more react videos yet. We're gonna start
All the good stuff to react to is coming up this week.
We're gonna do 2 react videos if you can show up at some point before the second episode comes out.
Yes.
We're gonna watch the Snyder Justice Leagues, and we're gonna watch Winter Soldier.
I think Justice League is going to be a 4-hour movie. I don't think they're doing the episodic shit
I thought
anymore.
they were doing 6 episodes.
So did I, but the way that they're marketing this is like, nope, Friday on the 19th, it's all in one 4-hour, 2-minute fucking reveal. And you're like, all right. I think they just went back to the movie and didn't tell nobody.
Did you hear that? I read something that it accidentally was on the fucking app.
Linked. People,
like if you click the Disney animated thing, it was there.
No. HBO MAX. People went to go watch Tom and Jerry.
Oh, it was Tom and Jerry. I thought it might have been. Oh, right, Disney.
It was Disney. Tom and Jerry, and they got the first hour and a half of fucking Justice League.
Oh wow, that's a big fucking.
There was only one review for it. The guy's like, you have to watch this. This is awesome. The CGI finally matches up to its potential. Holy shit!
Yeah, I'm. See, here's the thing. We watched that one trailer, and until we start doing react videos again, there's no reason for me to watch any trailers. I'd rather go in unbiased as humanly possible, all things considered, and go in not having blown any surprises. I'm starting to enjoy doing that. I used to watch all the trailers.
I'm the opposite. Well, I watched the character trailers because,
but I
just wanted to see them.
I have no faith in Zack Snyder. Is my point. And like saying it's better than the Joss Whedon butchered version
isn't difficult.
Which is which again, I get as much of a piece of shit Whedon might be or not be. And as bad or good as you like,
he still made the Avengers.
Well, right, and the second one.
Yeah.
But and wrote. I think he was script doctor in a lot of the early Marvel movies, like Captain America and stuff like that. I think. It's still a low bar because it's not like you said, "Here's the ingredients, go make whatever you want." It was like, "Here's a half-finished cake, now fucking frost it."
Yeah.
You know,
and he reshot. He just like Superman 2. He reshot 3/4 of the movie.
Yeah. So, but the problem was that the chassis was never. It was always what it was. It was, or the spine, or whatever you want to call it. That he was fucked. He was behind the 8 ball from day one. So it's going to be hard to say like if it was better than Joss Whedon's that it gives it any value, any greater value.
You know what's funny? After you add the original production costs, then bring in Whedon on board, then the marketing cost, then the $70 million this is almost a $400 million movie to see for we're going to watch.
Which one? The new one?
Yeah.
Well, the old one was still because they did reshoots too.
Oh no, I was going to say after you.
So like if that one made I don't know what, like if that one brought in like $800 million or something, they're not in the black a lot on that one or this one. I think this one's more. They know so many people are dying to see it.
Oh yeah,
that it's like a good way to get people to at least see the app to then go find out what else is on it. Yeah. I feel like
I love HBO Max. It's my new favorite streaming app.
Disney has a lot of stuff on it, but most of it's not in my ballpark.
Yeah.
So all the cartoons and stuff, I don't care about.
And Disney for me is going to become very important, and once the baby is old enough to sit in front of a TV and pay any kind of attention.
It's the babysitter, but
and that's not going to be the babysitter.
It's the babysitter. Oh. It's the new nanny is Disney Plus, but I'm saying that like once they're fully underway with creating Star Wars and fucking Marvel content, I'll be fine with the Disney app. It'll be worth the money. Every week I've gotten probably an episode of Star Wars and an episode of Marvel every week till the end of fucking time. Yeah. It'll be fine for me. It'll be worth the money. But right now it's like it's all right. I don't use Disney app for anything other than and they have new movies coming out there, but like I don't watch them. I don't watch those anime things. But I like if they were smart with the HBO app for those Snyder people or those DC people or those comic book people or those Marvel people that they're trying to get to come, they need to trick them into watching those 2 other shows they have, Titans and fucking Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
Because those are fucking Titans is fun. It's like it's not exactly my cup of tea either, but it's fun to see these characters in costumes. And I was never a Titans guy, but this is interesting, and it's a gritty take, which is like kind of a little cliche '90s, where everything was bullets and black costumes and stuff.
Fuck Batman,
right? And salty language, but it's still worth watching, and it's more enjoyable than most of their movies.
Yeah.
Doom Patrol is next level fucking shit. Next level fucking shit.
I like Doom Patrol a lot.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So they need to find a sneaky ass, and they should have kept making Swamp Thing. They fucked up. They fucked up on Swamp Thing. They ruined the end. The last 3 episodes are shit because they had to cram, 8 pounds of shit in a 4-pound bag because they shortened the season and said we're not doing this anymore. So we're ramping up a little.
Oh, that's when Georgia lost or Georgia stopped giving.
No,
those
it was
incentives?
just DC. It was the time where they knew that they were going to fold the DC app, I think, and that it was going to become HBO Max, or they didn't know the future. It was something like that, or they realized how much they were spending on this.
Yeah, because wasn't like the first couple episodes of Swamp Thing like fucking movie level like
it was. It shows it's got some it's high quality stuff, but I think they realized the amount they had committed to making that show, and then they started to get the numbers for the DC app, which were trash.
Yeah,
because no one was buying it. That they freaked out, but I think that was a decent show, and if they'd done like a true horror show and not abridged the season and butchered the scripts at the end, it was a strong show until you immediately can find where that decision was made.
Yeah,
you can immediately find it if you're watching with the knowledge of what was coming. That they need to trick people into watching at least some of that stuff. And I know they're creating more content.
Yeah, the Harley Quinn show is awesome.
Well, that's cartoons. But I'm saying, like, you're laughing, but I'm like, most people that watch the movies, or they don't care. Yeah. It's cartoons. It's fine. But most people are not, like, going to sit and watch cartoons. It's just us weirdos that fucking grew up collecting comics all the time.
Which we outnumber at this point everyone else because that's all that's out there.
So so I'm trying not to come into the Snyder version of this.
Yeah.
With too much of a negative attitude.
Yeah.
But how can I not? Because everything up to this point that he did let me down. I feel like we're going to see this Justice League is going to emphasize the things I was talking about, that he doesn't understand the core of each of these characters, and unless you get the core of these characters, their true nature's correct, and then you can play jazz with the external stuff.
Yeah.
If you're going to change fundamentally who they are, that you've lost me, because you're not making all of a sudden to make a movie about something that succeeded because it was this for so long, and they go, but I'm not going to make it that. You're not good enough to do that. And people aren't going to respond. If you think, it's hard for me to describe. But if like, let's say Superman's core, like, way he is and what he's about and all this stuff has been pretty much the same, just updated with the times.
Yeah, he stopped beating women around
like
the 70s.
For 80 years. So beating women. So for like 80 years, it's been this. And that's what people know, expect, and love. And if you're not going to at least, follow that vein of truth, that whatever you want to call it.
Should I just let those kids die? Maybe.
Yeah,
dude,
it's hard.
If
you don't have that compass, that compass, or whatever you want to call it, that one true thing to build off of, that everyone knows and expects.
Yep.
And is what made the character successful.
Yep.
That's the main important thing. Is like people responded and kept this character in business and profitable and something they were interested in
for a long time.
80 fucking years, and all these incarnations, whether it's comic books, cartoons, movies, whatever. And then you think you're better than everyone else that has built this thing, and you're just going to throw it all away and do something else? Good luck, buddy. Just like fucking fucko J.J. Abrams with these rumors of doing have you heard this? that he's going to do, like he's scrapping Superman.
Yeah. I've heard it.
I don't care about black Superman, white Superman, but you don't throw Henry Cavill out, who's like, he's succeeding in spite of the writing of Superman.
He is the only, he's one of the few examples I could point out to his portrayal overshadowing all the bad.
Right. Like he's single-handedly keeping this version of Superman dignified.
It does not hurt that he looks like Superman.
Right. Well, that's yes. But he's good, man. Yeah. And like he's like fucking believable as Superman. Like
he really is.
He's believable as Superman in Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
When you see that one?
I haven't seen that one yet.
He's literally, there's a fight in the bathroom.
I know he's like punching through fucking concrete and shit.
It's fucking fantastic. As believable, like sinks and things like that. Yeah. It's amazing. He's really good. And I'm not a big fan of The Witcher, but I know a lot of people like that too.
I haven't even watched it.
Yeah,
so
I watched one episode and I was like, I don't see what everyone else sees in this, but I'll watch it. I powered through some of these things just hoping they'll be good. But so J.J. Abrams trying to do this thing, and I don't want to make it about that, but it's like, if you haven't nailed the original Superman,
why would you branch off?
Why are you now thinking, oh, well, but we can also do this one? It's like, they're not even daring to do Miles Morales yet in any version in Marvel. They're like, let's establish Spider-Man first.
Yeah. Before
we do, we start franchising Spider-Man, which what in the comics, there's a lot of Spider-Man out there. But you got to have, like, in comics, there was 50 years of Spider-Man before you had anyone else be Spider-Man, other than a clone of himself, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So now you're doing a different take on Superman when you never got the original take right, and you're expecting people to embrace this.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
No.
And like, you could put all the Michael B. Jordans you want in it and make it a totally different origin. But if you're doing that, then why call it Superman?
Yeah.
It's like
it's Fantastic Four all over again.
It's like Brightburn.
Yeah.
It's Superman, but because it's not Superman, he didn't call it Superman.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's
this whole concept of let's concentrate on the alien side of Superman. I'm like, that's not what people want to see. They've never wanted to see that.
Here's the only successful thing recently that's been done with Superman that isn't Superman is this new show, Superman and Lois.
Yeah.
Because they have done something they haven't done as a regular basis of comics. They've made him a middle-aged parent of two.
Yeah.
Married parent of two. And it's now, instead of being the same, like, you've had Lois and Clark at Smallville and all these other shows where it's the struggles again and again and again of hiding your relationship with Lois and balancing your love life. And I see you reading. You got to put that away. And all the things that we've already covered a million times that we can cover new ground. But what they've done is kept him Superman.
Yeah.
He's still the same, like, all the principles, all the core values, all the core things that make him Superman are still deeply ingrained in this character in the show. So you're on board.
Yeah.
You can't be on board with the Snyder shit when you've changed all the things. He's not Superman. And you could say, well, we're quietly, slowly transitioning. We're creating those things in him as we go along. And maybe I see that a little bit, but why? It doesn't make any sense.
I think that this movie is going to be all the things that he wanted to do was going to do with the hindsight of everything else.
Well, we established
that.
that.
So we established that. So
but it's not. But I'm saying that you should have just made this your own superverse, because you're taking characters and making them something they're not. You can do that again.
Well, they kind of are their own universe. Like DC's doing the new Batman, that's a different universe.
No. I'm saying but don't call him Superman, Batman, and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, kind of what they've done with, that's a great thing about, like, we think The Boys, we know the show, but all the comic book was just a recharacterization from a different perspective.
Right, but you look at it, and it's like at least 2 or 3 of the main characters are kind of loosely nodded to. I mean, he's Superman.
Yep. She's Wonder Woman.
Maeve is Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. You've got a Flash type character in there. And then from there, you got the Deep, which is Aquaman. And then after that, it's like It's like other things.
But they're the distinct own characters.
Right. You don't call him Superman and then have him act like that.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't work.
No.
And nobody loves it. Nobody's like, if you did that show as in the DC universe, like if you made that, like if Warner
if you called that Justice League, people would lose their shit.
Even if you're like going, haha, wait, this is like a different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like Snyder's kind of done that. I feel like in a way Snyder's kind of done that. You've got to respect. You don't have to all of it, but you got to respect what's come before. And you can't take a character. I feel like I'm beating this dead. You can't take a character that's been you understand why why people have loved him.
Yeah.
You can't take all that away.
Which is funny because here's my thing with Snyder and those especially Man of Steel.
I think he should just stick to zombie movies, to be honest with you.
I agree with you on that. But if you remove Jonathan Kent from that movie entirely, which he literally did to himself halfway through the movie, thank God. But if you remove Jonathan Kent and all those scenes out, you don't have a bad Superman movie. It's funny because the best parts about the Christopher Reeve Superman movie are the worst parts of the life lessons. Why is he like this? Oh, because his father instilled all these values into him. You remove all the nonsense.
Superman, it's the one in a gazillion shot.
Yeah.
If Superman had found any other person on the planet as his parents, he wouldn't be Superman.
And we have those comics, Red Sun, all that stuff. We have those comics.
Right.
I agree with you. If you're going to make a Superman his spaceship landed in fucking Kansas and he moved to Metropolis, if you're going to tell that story, you need to tell that character. Right. You need to. If you want to tell the other one, hey, go do a Red Sun movie.
Right, and that's my like in the TV show, which you haven't watched and you need to watch because it's fantastic. His mother dies in the first episode. I'm not going to spoilers. Oops, sorry. Yeah. But it's 3 episodes in. Fuck you guys. Watch it or don't watch it. His mother died the first episode, and there's this thing about because one of the kids is getting his powers. They're like, let's stay at the farm instead of living in Metropolis.
Until we can get that shit under control.
Right. It's at least he's not gonna knock a fucking 1,000-foot skyscraper down accidentally.
Or kill its class.
Well, its class is smaller in Smallville. And they find out over the course of the episode that his mother has been taking care of the whole town. She did a reverse mortgage on the farm that they're halfway through, and they have to decide whether they're keeping the farm or if they want to buy it back. Because the mother's been bailing people out. Yeah. Just because. And it's like, this is the person that raised fucking Superman.
Yeah.
She was like the angel of Smallville over these last 10 years of downturn and
that's really cool.
Economic. And so without having to go and retell the Superman origin or give us flashback scenes of moments with his dad to understand why he's such a good person. Yeah. They have literally just explained it to you in one fucking scene where Lana, the bank manager, is talking to him about what they want to do and explaining, no, your mother took a reverse mortgage out, blah, 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 and explains in one scene why he's like he is, who raised him and who created this good person, you know? And in a Snyder movie, they, instead of even just ignoring it, and people, like you say, if you just ignore it, and take for granted the fact that 90% of the population knows about Superman, has seen some incarnation of Superman, and knows the origin of Superman and how he was raised, that you don't need to tell it. But to retell it in a way that's so improper. Yeah. And makes John Kent look like a really fucking selfish individual.
Yeah, that was...
And whatever.
Oh, man.
It's
and literally the best part of the original Superman movie.
And the mom's still around and alive. Yeah. But she's not imparting these gems or she's just there. She's there as a fucking foil to put him in a bad situation. Yeah. That's in all these movies she's around. Yeah. But there's no moment where he needs to go and get centered. Well, he does. He goes home when he's revived in
I think in this incarnation is where you have that moment.
Maybe.
Because he's probably fuck Batman. The fuck do I want to help these motherfuckers for?
Maybe, but in 2 movies that were supposed to really build him, do the character building on him, for this version of Superman, she's useless.
Yeah.
She's just used as a fucking as a damsel in distress for him, and the father is used in a trash way.
No,
it was just a reason to have Kevin Costner in your movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, and as cool as that was as casting, I'm like, oh, cool, Kevin Costner, which makes sense because you think of movies like Field of Dreams and the wholesomeness and this, or like Dance with Wolves. These redemptive characters.
Instead, you get Waterworld Costner.
Yeah. Or the one where he was wasn't there one where he was like a serial killer?
Oh,
I forget.
With Ashton Kutcher.
So
Mr. Robinson or something
like that. Yeah. Mr. something. So that's what I'm like. Really like. I don't have a lot of high hopes because I don't think Snyder never understood these characters, or understood them and said, "Bah, I don't like that. I want to tell." And again, if you want to tell if you don't like the way Superman is, and you want to tell a different way Superman is, that's called Highlander. That's telling your own. Was that his name? Not Highlander. Homelander. In The Boys, it's doing it. But you don't call it Superman anymore.
Yeah.
You have to understand what makes things what they are.
I will say that despite all of Zack Snyder's efforts, and there were many, Henry Cavill just carries himself in the character in such a way where just him on screen doing the things that Zack Snyder's directing him to do is offsetting his direction by being like he's playing Superman right.
Well, there's two things. These guys look great as a character. I don't have a problem with any of the casting.
No,
Ezra Miller, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
But he's like,
it's a costume that gets me.
I feel he's a tertiary character right now until he has an expanded role, which I think we're getting in this.
Yeah.
But all of them, all the big four, are all like home run castings.
Yeah.
Even like the Aquaman one, you're like, you want the blonde guy, but once you see him as Aquaman, you're like, all right, I'm in.
That Aquaman movie cemented him as Aquaman.
But it's that movie's crazy. That's all.
I love that movie. I know you hate it.
That movie's crazy. I don't hate it, but I like the CG. Just fucking bugs the shit.
See, it doesn't bother me at all.
Bugs the shit out of me, especially when they're like, it's not the underwater stuff. It's the running on rooftop stuff that looks. Terrible.
Oh yeah,
looks terrible. But
the terrestrial shit.
Oh god, like when you're Unreal Things, like mutated animals under the sea are going to look more realistic because you don't know what they're supposed to look like anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with what a fucking seahorse looks like to know whether that looks realistic or not. So I buy it way more than crappy CG of them running through doors and rooftops and whatever.
Honest, that is a green screen set.
Yeah, I hated that. It looked awful. But where was I going? Oh, the casting's great, but I don't think any of the just like they didn't get Wonder Woman. I felt like they were touching on. But then this second movie they did with so this goes to he casts it well. Like even like Costner or all these characters out there. Hey, Jeremy Irons. I mean, good casting for these movies. But then he makes them look beautiful. Even though they're a little dark and dirty and sometimes it's hard to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Like I love Guardians where the action, that whole fight is in fucking that final space fight is in broad fucking daylight in the fucking atmosphere. It's beautiful. And everything you can see clear as day. No one's hiding anything. It's not like a Nolan Batman fight scene in the first movie where it's all elbows and close-ups in a pitch black environment.
And that's the problem is I think Zack Snyder took the direction too much from what Nolan did with Batman.
Maybe not realizing, he's the producer.
Not realizing but you can't do that with Superman.
No, because he did because it was the Watchmen look too. He's done this before. Now, Watchmen, I think, is a great movie. I love it because it's almost like I feel like it's word for word, panel for panel, which is fun.
Yeah.
I don't need that because I have the comic. But the one change he made, where it's like
the end,
it's no giant squid Manhattan, is a little weird, and then it's clunky because he's the one now writing it.
Yeah.
And then his explanation is, well, it didn't seem realistic or able to be done where people would buy it or whatever his explanation was exactly for that. I bought until we got the Watchmen TV show.
Oh, when they did the giant
They
squid.
did an episode where this guy's so traumatized because he was there and survived the giant squid appearance. And it's done so fucking well that you're like, fuck you, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Snyder's wrong. You could have done it. They hit and then you're like, then to watch. Have you seen this? You haven't seen the Watchmen series?
No, I have not.
Jesus Christ, dude! It is.
I just don't have the time.
It's the best TV show that was made last year.
Yeah, everyone says it.
It's the best, and so they did it. It's post Watchmen. It's like modern day, but they use that as the story, and they don't that's the spine of their fucking new book, and so they build off of that, and it's fantastic, and you realize that Snyder couldn't competently do the one thing that was on his own, which was like, yeah, word for word, shot for shot, you did a great job, and it looks beautiful. But the second you're like, I don't want to do the squid, your answer was clunky and didn't work well.
I agree with that. I don't blame him for not doing the squid, because I think at that time, because you have to remember the hell Watchmen went through to even get to that point. When Watchmen's been talked about being, it was one of those movies that
I don't know without knowing whether it was a concession to get it made. I don't know.
See, but I don't know. He might have been a concession, and he knows how to maneuver around the studio.
I doubt.
But you're right. When the second it became his,
I feel like
it felt clunky. You're right.
I feel like the dummies at the powers that be at Warner Brothers, who have made bad decision after bad decision,
yes,
would be more worried about an exposed blue penis than how it ended with a squid or not a squid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of these dummies.
Yeah.
Who have made bad decisions.
The penis is going to be how big?
Their movies are only good by accident when they're good.
Yeah, pretty much.
When the powers that be have taken their foots off the throats of people and let them a little freer.
Free filmmakers make films? Yeah.
Or also, the problem also is that at DC, the only thing you can compare it to is Marvel. And it's a little unfair at this point because it's totally different business models at this point. But the DC movies are not made by DC Comics. The Marvel movies are made by division of Marvel Studios, which was created by Marvel Comics. I'm sure the editor-in-chief no longer calls the shots for Marvel Studios. But it came from that.
Yeah.
So they're reverential. Their God, the Feige, is reverential to the source material, deviates from it only if it makes sense and improves the story.
Yeah.
And I feel like DC, Warner, they don't have that like structure where there's someone that came from the comic side of things overseeing everything and making sure they're not straying off the path at the wrong time.
Yeah, but they have comic guys like Jeff Jones and shit.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of a whore. I think he's just cashing in.
Yeah.
Or doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Or whenever is told by someone that signs his check to change something, he says yes because he doesn't have the power to say no. I don't know what it is, but obviously there's something there because they're not saying you can't do that. That's not Superman or that's not Batman. You can't do that. Where you have a Feige here going, no. Haven't you read the last 30 years of the books or the last 100 years of the books?
They definitely need like a Feige-esque character in the room.
Yeah, but then also they have this problem where I think like where Marvel's like find the perfect guy for the role, even if it's not the biggest name in the fucking business.
Yeah.
I think it feels like for a while there with the Suicide Squad and Justice League and whatever. I mean, Gal Gadot was out of nowhere, but
she was like almost out of acting.
But I feel like when you got into like some of these movies, at least for like the top name or two in the movie, that it wasn't necessarily. We have a list of the top 20 actors, and let's just work from top to bottom until someone says yes.
But other than Ben Affleck, man, everyone.
Will Smith. I mean,
Suicide Squad. Yeah.
I'm just saying, but that was the next big movie.
But remember, Henry Cavill was a nobody when he got cast.
I understand, but that
Gal Gadot's a nobody. Jason Momoa was known; he'd been around.
He was a big name,
but he wasn't a big name.
He was a pretty big name.
Well, Game of Thrones, yeah,
he was a pretty big name.
I guess because of Game of Thrones, but that was
a big name, and or they're the hot name. Like Ezra Miller was the hot name. Margot Robbie, perfectly cast.
Yeah,
but I mean, but she was a hot. Up and coming name. It wasn't necessarily.
Scarlett Johansson is the Black Widow. She was famous before she got cast.
Yeah, but how famous was she?
The casting doesn't bother me. None of that bothers me.
I'm just saying. On top of everything else.
Yeah.
On top of everything else, I feel like there's less of a. I don't know.
I think
feel
both sides.
At one point, there was less of a consideration.
I think both sides do a really good job casting the roles. I think the problem is always. I mean, you're going to have your issues. You're going to have your miscasts. But then Marvel found its way. Like, they miscast. Well, they didn't really miscast. But Terrence Howard obviously wasn't the right person at the right time.
He wasn't a good fit.
He wasn't a good fit. But they got Don Cheadle and it moved on. Everything's fine.
They even I was watching something somewhere, and they even apparently in the second movie
they address it right off the bat.
He's like, "Yeah, it's me. Get over it."
Yeah, right off the bat. It's like the first scene. Yeah. So they know how to now. DC hasn't had to recast. They will with Cyborg. If anything comes from this movie, and there's anything further in this universe, they're going to have to recast Cyborg, which isn't a tremendously big deal.
I mean, the guy's face is half covered, so
yeah, you
put a different guy in there. Yeah. I don't think too many people are going to blink and go, "Oh, that seems different." Yeah,
just don't make it be just
the kid in Doom Patrol is my favorite Cyborg, anyways.
That's right. I keep forgetting the two cyborgs.
He looks great in that.
He might end up being
he's a good actor.
He might end up being the cyborg going forward. If it moves forward.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I feel like Snyder wants nothing to do with crossing streams.
Because I think the big Cyborg and Flash are the two characters that really get the treatment with this. I think.
Well, I feel
they're like the linchpins of the whole thing.
I feel that they're doing this movie.
Yeah.
And then maybe the next movie is this Flash movie.
Yeah.
They do, quote, Flashpoint, unquote. They may indulge themselves and do a little of this multiverse madness stuff like Marvel's doing in that movie. And then from there, it's like a blank slate.
Yeah.
DC. And then they start over with, you're going to have The Rock stuff and
more Shazam.
But are they going to are they now done? It sounds like I saw a video or read a thing that, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this was bad information, that they're not taking Cavill's calls anymore, that they're moving on from that Superman after this.
Here's how I feel.
And that JJ's doing this other version, and that Cavill's already called Marvel and is in discussions about 3 or 4 characters, including Captain Britain. I can't remember some of the other ones. But they were interesting fucking choices. Yeah. To literally as soon as he heard this news, he went and picked up the phone. I haven't been staying in the shape to not.
First off, Captain Britain would be perfect for him. Second off, I think DC's in a really great place right now, and Warner Bros. Is in a great place because I don't think they invest $70 million into anything, even just to give the fans what they want, if there wasn't a larger thought behind it. And I do believe that they are hoping that this succeeds so they can continue on with these characters because...
You think they want to stay in business with Snyder?
We'll see. Maybe. Because
I could see them doing more Aquamans.
Oh, and they are.
And another Wonder Woman. But her movies have nothing to do with current continuity anyways.
But they're also 20, 30 years before all this shit. So
that's what I'm saying.
You can catch it up. She's already
But if you do Flashpoint, you could keep her and Momoa, move on to other.
Yeah, but Flashpoint to me is a really important movie because if it does its job right, you can do whatever you want and it makes sense.
Right, but that's a big if on that side of the fence.
That's true.
On the Marvel side of the fence, it's almost a sure thing.
Yes. And DC needs to earn that credit, and so far they haven't because they've been so hit and miss.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman 84 had the opportunity to set a lot of things right, and it didn't do it. And
even doing the kitschy we're in the 80s thing, they didn't really hit.
There were no 80s songs.
Right.
What?
Right.
What? It's like the one thing you have to do.
In Captain Marvel, for all its flaws, if you perceive them as flaws.
It was very 90s.
They loaded that movie with 90s music.
Very 90s.
Hit you, wanted to remind you every second.
Culture, everything.
Yeah, Walkman, clothing, everything.
Yeah.
You did some of that in Wonder Woman, but it was almost it's like when someone does an accent in something and then starts to forget to do their accent, and the director isn't on them to keep doing the accent, so they slip in and out of it. That's how the 80s felt.
Again, Kevin Costner.
In Robin Hood. Yeah. The first 15 minutes, he's very British.
But only the first 15 minutes.
Right. So yeah. Damn. full circle with Kevin Costner. So good callback. So yeah, and like even the over the top Max Lord would work if they could. It feels like they didn't hammer out the story enough. And
no, but he was the one shiny point of that
movie. They concentrated on a lot of.
I love Pedro Pascal.
I feel like they concentrated on the wrong things in the movie.
Yeah,
like all the way through. And by the end of it, I was just like, I was sitting alone on the couch, looking to my left and right, hoping someone was next to me to confirm, are we watching this? You know, because it was like what's going on here?
It was not what
and
it
she's
had to
like,
be.
Like anytime she's Wonder Woman, she's like, you can't not look at her. She's fantastic, and the costumes were great. The gold, like the end, I'm like they. At the end, she becomes Hawkwoman.
Yeah,
it's like, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah,
it was
weird.
It was as bad.
Yeah.
The third act was as much bad decisions as in the first movie.
It just did. Yes. So Wonder Woman hasn't had a good third act yet.
But Patty Jenkins got to do it herself this time, and it's like, okay, good luck with that. With that fucking Star Wars movie.
I was about to say. Right before Wonder Woman 84 came out, they did that fucking trailer for Rogue One, and you find
not Rogue One, but Rogue
Squadron.
I don't even
Rogue Squadron.
Is it Rogue Squadron?
Yes, Rogue Squadron. Where you find out she was, her past with her dad in Vietnam, and she can't wait to make
fighter
pilot.
Blah.
And I was like, I'm all about this. Then I watched 84, and I'm like, God damn it, another shitty Star Wars movie's coming up. Mm-hmm. It's just
what I love, ideally in a perfect world.
Oh man,
in a perfect world. You have in Star Wars, you have George Lucas, who was always enamored with those air battles, like in the old World War I type stuff, Red Baron type shit. That's where all that came from, the TIE fighters and the X-Wings and the things at the end.
Yeah.
That he even didn't he even do a movie?
Red Tails
or something? Yeah. Like that's a thing for him. Yeah. So to then do a movie that basically focuses on that part, and to hire a director whose father did that in the fucking armed forces, and you're like, oh, this is all coming together. It's all making sense. But then you realize, is she a good storyteller or isn't she? I can't tell
because Wonder Woman 2 was written by her.
Right. And I'm like,
she can't escape that room.
I'm like, before the movie came out, there weren't a lot of like excuses about like, oh, people came in at the end and were fucking with my shit. And making me rewrite
This is all me.
Or someone came in and re-edited it. It sounds like, maybe I'm wrong, but it sounds like it was all her. Yep. And now she's got to own it. And I'm like, I mean, maybe some people liked it. I wasn't a bit, I became so uninterested in that movie by the end. Even with Pedro Pascal, who like, it's so funny. I didn't know who the fuck that guy was until The Mandalorian, really.
Neither did I.
And then you're like looking, he's had like this huge acting career for the last like 10, 15 years.
Yep.
You're like, now granted, I never saw Narcos.
It's like Catherine Hahn.
I think he blew up from Narcos.
Yeah, it's like Catherine Hahn.
Well, I knew who Catherine Hahn was.
But they had
just from, visually, I know from that one movie where she puts her foot up and pisses in the urinal in Step Brothers. I'm like, that character's fantastic.
But these people, they have these long careers that you know them, but you don't really know them.
Yeah, but Catherine Hahn and Pedro Pascal paid their dues and earned their way and have proven themselves in every big opportunity they've been given.
100%.
I don't know that, like, I know Patty Jenkins is like a name in the business, has done stuff for years and years and years. I don't remember what she's, like, her big thing is.
You're talking to the wrong person.
And I like, do I want to look it up? But I think Clueless is hers.
Really?
I think so. I think she directed Clueless. I want to Google it so I don't look like an asshole here.
I cannot confirm that.
I think it is. So but here we are. She's doing this stuff, and it's like, and it makes sense that if she was a person that would have directed something like Clueless, that she would have cast someone like the SNL girl to be Cheetah.
Yeah.
She did a fine job until they made her this.
It wasn't her fault.
This fucking, this like Monkey King character that you would see in a kung fu flick.
Her entire purpose point, everything that movie that was bad about her character was not her fault. She did a fine job, a good job.
She did a really good job when she was like the character.
Kristen Wiig's a great actress.
When she did, but once they made her CG and made her like a cat person,
it all.
I don't think they needed that. I don't think they. She could have had some cheetah abilities, maybe some some strong, long fingernails.
You wanted to save full cheetah for another movie?
Yeah, like she keeps pushing with something, and like it's like almost like the Beast.
Yeah.
Like the full cheetah comes in that second mutation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She doesn't. He was the Beast before he was blue and furry.
Yeah.
He just had like the big hands and the
big
feet like hands.
Yeah.
With thumb toes or whatever that he could grab stuff with, and he was very strong and could do the acrobatic stuff. And was super smart. So it's almost a parallel character, except in this she's given mystical powers.
Yeah.
Instead of like, and again, I don't read Wonder Woman enough to even know Cheetah's real origin.
You're looking at the wrong
I don't know
person.
if it was like a Sidorak stone type of thing, where you pick up a gem and you get the powers, or if it was like experimenting on herself, because I feel like she's been both versions. A girl in a cheetah suit, and then a full like cat lady. So I feel like it would have had to have been a science experiment thing, but who knows? I don't know. Like a Man Bat thing, or like a Kurt Connors thing. I
think I've read like 3 Wonder Woman comics ever.
I mean, I've read a bunch. I've read a bunch. I kind of liked some of the stuff that was off-brand Wonder Woman, like when in the 70s for a little while, they did this mod, like late 60s, early 70s, I think it was. They did like this mod period where they were like, she was wearing like those bodysuits, like from the spy movie kind of era, like the Austin Powers type era, and she was a spy, and she wasn't wearing the colors. She didn't have I don't know if she had the lasso or not. She might have, but it was one of those more grounded things, and it was kind of cool. I kind of liked some of those, or at least I liked the covers to the comics. They resonate with me. I'm more inclined to the art. But like anytime you get too deep into the Greek god stuff, you lose me.
Like Marvel did the whole god thing right.
I feel like she'd be better served if she was descended from the gods, but the gods don't answer anymore. If she's from Themyscira, but they're cut, like when she chose to leave, cut off. It's not like she's a diplomat and they're a sovereign thing. Like just like she's the only one. She has no contact with them anymore because she chose to leave and they want nothing to do with her anymore, the outside world. And you stick to that. And she's like this outlier character like Superman.
Yeah.
Except that she not only has all of his powers, but she doesn't have the magic weaknesses.
Yeah.
And she's got a couple of magical tools like the fucking lasso.
Yeah.
I like that better. I don't like the constantly being handcuffed to the pantheons and all that higher level stuff, which is really hard to like translate sometimes. They really do a bad job of dealing with gods in a world where like they're gods but they're not,
That's why you should have went the Marvel route. They're just aliens.
Sorta, except they've now more embraced the fact that he really is the god of thunder.
Yeah.
I feel like
they do it in a way.
They got away from it without letting you know they got away from it.
Exactly. It wasn't ham-fisted. It was just...
It's like as soon as Doctor Strange was introduced...
Yeah.
Okay, now Thor's Thor.
Yeah.
He's not an alien with some high-tech hammer.
Yeah. So... But Marvel earned that ability, earned that right through their storytelling and through the consistency.
If you didn't get called out for it in some clumsy way of handling it, then you achieved it.
DC just did everything they could to fast track to match Marvel, and that is still affecting them to this day.
Yeah, well, they had Justice League planned after the first Superman movie.
But I feel as if this Justice League can do justice to the first movie, to the actual idea and concept it was supposed to do. I feel Flash can do its job to make the possibility of universe expansion a thing, where we can have different ideas and different characterizations of different characters, and Aquaman 2 could be a good movie. Just a good movie. Just be a good movie.
Well, if it's like the first one where it's just like a popcorn movie, where it's just like you're going in there not expecting anything but to be... Oh, someone's calling and it's a spam risk. We won't answer that.
Oh, we should have updated our vehicle warranty insurance.
I should have answered that. Yeah. Fuck. Oh, I fucked up.
You're online.
God damn it.
Yeah, you're on a podcast.
I didn't want it to be something embarrassing like some collection agency. I think all that's fallen off my record anyway. Not that that puts me in any greater light. Anyway, yeah.
But no, I think a lot of questions will be answered next weekend because
a lot
because early reviews on Winter Soldier.
It might be like WandaVision, where as many questions get answered, more.
But if it could be done like WandaVision, where you're like, oh, I have more questions.
Look me in the eye, and tell me it's going to be competently done like WandaVision.
I can't do that.
Yeah,
I can't do that.
And it's funny.
I'd like to be able to do that.
But it's so funny that we know already. We know already. Maybe the spectacle of it obviously will be big, grander and more impressive and whatever. But storyline-wise, just the writing of it, that we're talking about that 2 side characters of the Marvel Universe with a 9-episode, half-hour show is so much better done and well thought out and handled and basically leads us to the next few projects than this multi-million-dollar fucking like $100 million redo. It's like it's a second chance to get it right.
It's unfair.
And it's going to not live up to something that's like what are the equivalent to Wanda and Vision in the DC universe?
Fucking Hawkman and Hawkgirl. I don't know.
Or Hawk and Dove or something even lower.
But I think that specific comparison is a little unfair because all Snyder had the ability to do is fix the FX and update some stuff and cut it in a way that matched where he feels now with it from footage that was done in 2017.
But I feel like he
got
to redo a lot of that stuff.
Maybe we'll see that.
But here again,
history proves history says we probably won't.
Yeah. Track record. Here's where we go. Is that, yes, if it's broken into episodes, it's more fair to compare it to Wanda because it's the same format. If they release it as a 4-hour movie, it's a 4-hour fucking movie. Then you're like, yeah, you can't. But I mean, writing's writing. Yeah. Either it's good or it's bad. You know, it doesn't matter what you're writing for. So I just feel like we already know. We already know.
I'm just going to enjoy the spectacle, because at least it'll be what he intended.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to just. Yeah. We know where he was headed, so you can't be shocked at this point. But I don't know. I mean, some of the stuff I read, I don't even want to talk about because I'm hoping it doesn't happen.
We'll see. We'll see. I just want him. I'm just gonna give him a fair chance to end his story the way he wanted to. With the hindsight that he's had, and the knowledge that he did this, him and his wife went into this as a way to kind of like.
This is all a thank you to fans.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm
for support or as even if it's not support, as a backlash to what they did do with his movie. And I read that thing. Nolan refused to show the cut to Zack Snyder
because you know how bad it was.
Yeah.
And everyone knew how bad it was. There's nothing about that movie that's good. There literally isn't.
Can I backtrack and tell you where the real plant was seated?
When?
It was Chris Nolan. I mean, this all comes from Chris Nolan.
Yeah.
He's the one that hired Zack and produced these. And I never was a fan of Chris Nolan's fucking Batman movies. I knew from those that this was going to be a bad deal. I knew it was going to be bad because I never approved of anything Chris Nolan did in those Batman movies. The second one was close, but I felt like
those first two are fantastic.
I don't think the first one's fantastic at all, but the second one at least felt better. The problem was that they got too ambitious and they crammed too much. They needed to cut all of the Two-Face shit out. It would have been a much trimmer, streamlined movie, and it would have been much better. I feel like it was just overloaded. It was a little too heavy.
Maybe have Harvey Dent in the first one, and Two-Face would be the end result of the first movie.
And that's one where the recasting and playing the same character of the girl, Gyllenhaal, didn't work. It should just been a different chick.
Yeah, I agree.
Like recasting her was a fatal flaw.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Playing it as the same actress.
Yeah,
that's like when they're saying like recasting Gina Carano's character. They're gonna recast her. They'll just find another strong female character.
There's more than one in the world.
In the
universe?
Star Wars universe?
Yeah, there's more than one. Pick one.
I mean, sometimes they're the most important character.
Make one.
Like
they made her.
Leia, you know, right?
You know, she was made out of thin air.
They didn't like pull her from fucking books or movies. So it's like, why would they recast her? It makes no sense. Yeah. This is where people are idiots.
Cara Dune, meet Catherine at fucking Snow Hill. I don't know. They'll find another one.
Right. Her twin sister.
Yeah. Oh,
who's taller, stronger, and prettier.
We call her Two Dunes,
and has no Twitter account.
Has no Twitter account. Oh shit.
I mean, I don't know that she should be fired for what she tweets. And I like Gina Carano I liked her character. I like looking at her. I'm not saying she's a great actress, but it was a cool casting and it worked for me. I didn't hate the character. And I feel bad for her that she's hurt her career. But I guess if you're working for someone and they say your job depends on your public whatever, and you got to not make waves, don't make fucking waves.
Yeah.
I wish she was still playing the character, but I understand. It's like you did it to yourself. You did it to yourself.
You work for Disney.
Yeah.
You work for Disney.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you post on your social media for your 9 to 5 for many reasons. But when you work for fucking Disney,
but here's the
you
example.
Can't do that
here's
shit.
Example. You've got Bill fucking Burr, who probably has a lot more people that don't like him for things he says.
Oh, buddy.
But he doesn't. He knows what to say and what not to say. He's not going to say something that dumb.
The difference is he's a professional comic, so he's done that his entire life.
Well, and
that's his economy,
and it's his business. He would tell it in the form of a joke.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be tweeting it as his opinion on something. He never tweets his opinion on stuff. Yeah. It's all joke format stuff, and it's all whatever. And that's more covered under freedom of speech. Yep. If you were to talk with Disney about your heat, than someone just posting, controversial. Nobody
loves Gina Carano more than I do, but she deserved to get fired. Okay.
I mean, deserve.
Those tweets, she deserved to get fired.
Okay, that's fair.
Because when you work for Disney,
forewarned is forearmed. I mean, yes, you were warned. So if this was like she never, like this was out of the blue, and the first time she did it, and the first time they talked, right?
But this is a pattern. Yeah. She'd been talked about, and let's be honest, you don't have to be that smart to put 2 and 2 together. You work for Disney, some things you just can't say. I'm sorry, you just can't.
Right.
It just is.
So I guess your predictions. We don't really have predictions for Justice League.
My prediction is we're going to get My prediction is we're going to get a much better movie. Now, that can mean a lot of things. Well, it won't be worse than what Joss Whedon did. I can almost promise that, and I don't think it'll be as bad in a different way.
I feel like it's going to offend me more. As a purist,
yes. You're probably
not even as
hurt.
A purist, but someone who understands.
Yeah.
I'm not a purist. I'm all for changing something if it improves it.
It makes sense.
If it makes sense and it improves it, like I'm all for that. So you start changing stuff and it's not better than the source that you're deviating from, but we're gonna have problems.
But much like Gina Carano's
like
firing,
the Phoenix stuff,
you're not allowed. You're much like Gina. You're not allowed to watch this movie knowing the context of which it came from. And be angry for the things that you know are not going to be done to your liking.
But I understand because they're not going to they're not remaking Man of Steel, Batman.
Yeah,
they're Batman vs Superman. They're not remaking those, so you can't deviate from what you've already set, anyways.
All we're going to get is what we would have got in 2017 with the hindsight of 3 years of knowledge. That's it. And as long as you can be okay with that and just enjoy it for what it is. And we'll finally get to see fucking... here's one mistake. It's like, man, you've given us way too much Darkseid. But awesome.
Oh, in the trailers?
Yeah, way too much.
I mean, what are you going to do? You want people to fucking tune in?
I mean, you're getting me. But here's the problem. I believe you're going to leave off on this cliffhanger you might never come back to. Because the original movie was intended to lead into Darkseid. So you're going to get this movie that's going to lead into this thing that... might not be answered. I hope it does well to do so. It probably won't. They've already invested.
How bizarre was it to have a Justice League movie where the main villain, when Joss was all said and done, was one of the fucking sub Darkseid gods, the fucking Steppenwolf. Like how fucking
who looked like a bad Liam Neeson cosplayer.
But like again, it's like it's a little fucking wonky.
I'm almost wondering if Josh did that on purpose.
I don't know. I think he thought he was coming as a conquering hero to save the day. He got a lot of freedom to remake as much as possible, put his fucking flavor on it.
Yeah, but
and then because he was signed to do more stuff with them, he was going to work on
that
Batgirl, and I think there was going to be like he was going to have a new relationship with DC. I don't know what the situation was with Marvel.
Yeah.
I don't know if he burned the bridge, if he got burned out from them wanting to tailor his stories to accommodate the big picture, and that was an issue. But whatever it was, I feel like by the end there was a little bit of a falling out between him and Marvel, and they were like, "We wish you well on your future endeavors." And so he went to DC. I'll show you. Hail Conquering Hero. I'll save the Justice League. I'm going to do Batgirl. And then all of a sudden, I can't figure out Batgirl. Justice League bombed.
Because he could have done anything with Justice League and he'd have been forgiven for it. As long as he followed up with something.
Well, as long as, but I think the main problem
was his probably the way he approached it.
I feel like he came in with the
ego and the attitude.
And the abuse.
Yeah.
Because you hear about it all the way back in Buffy, but you don't hear about it at Marvel that much. You're
not telling Robert Downey Jr. that kind of shit, man.
Yeah, and like do you even like get in Scarlett Johansson's face?
No, you fucking don't.
I mean, Gal Gadot on her like second movie ever or whatever it is. Yeah. Maybe you can bully her around.
And even she said, we had a moment. We hashed it out. It was settled to my satisfaction, and we moved on.
Yeah,
you know.
Maybe Ray fucking whatever his name
Fisher
didn't. I'll never know his name because he's never going to be anything in Hollywood, unfortunately.
And to be honest with you, the way that he goes about this and the way that he's gone about this, I'm not saying you're wrong because you're probably right.
Except it feels a little titty baby,
and a little too much attention.
Yeah.
It's not like
he's not in Jussie Smollett territory yet.
No, it's not like Samuel L. Jackson coming out like, hey, listen, there was a moment with Josh, we had it, I hashed it out with him, we're good, blah blah blah, or it's not like
it's
that.
It's funny because it feels like Joss Whedon was a coach in the.
Yeah,
it's a reverse thing where usually you go from the pros to college.
Yeah,
he went from college to the pros, and you have to learn to treat people instead of being poor students who are afraid of you. You have to now treat them as millionaire athletes that are almost more important than you are to the team. And I think he went from a reverse. He was in Marvel where the millionaire athletes, and he came in. Yes, he made the Avengers, which was the big jump forward. And he had a relationship where he was script doctoring, but he went then
to the college.
Almost went to college a little bit because he had people he could push around. Like Ray Fisher was nobody.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot was nobody. And so he picked his spots. He wasn't bullying Ben Affleck.
Fuck that.
He wasn't. I mean, Cavill would have fucking crushed his head.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't go up to a man that size and fucking get in his face about
it. And Jason Momoa was yes, sir. Yes, sir. That man throws axes for fun.
Right. Did you see that no-look bullseye he threw?
I love that shit.
Oh, my God. That guy's... Like, that guy, it's so effortless how much of a man he is.
And it's why he's such a great Aquaman.
If they were making the original Predator movie today, how could he have not been part of that cast?
Oh, my God.
Like, that's the man movie of men movies with Arnold, Carl Weathers, the Indian that built the guy from 48 Hours, the Indian guy. You had
who's apparently the biggest psychopath ever walk Earth.
Yeah, like a jail guy, like went to jail or did time. You got Jesse Ventura. I mean, it was just
Frank Duke,
Bill Duke.
Oh, Bill Duke.
Bill Duke dry shaving in the jungle the whole time. Yeah, I'm like, this movie is full of men, and there's stories about how like they had a weight area,
and they had competition,
and like everyone was like never going to take it serious, just stay in shape. But then as soon as you saw another guy in there, you were like competing with him, and they would just be like, all of a sudden it was on.
That was one of the most accidental classics of all time.
It's such a man movie.
Because
John McTiernan at his peak directing,
it all because they changed the Predator halfway through filming.
You know who else? Well, yeah.
That Jean-Claude Van Damme thing is pretty infamous.
Terrible. It had like a duckbill. It was Jar Jar Binks-ish. You know who's one of the characters in that movie?
Who?
Shane Black is.
Yeah,
it's like fantastic. I mean, he
gets skinned alive.
Yeah, but But he has the big pussy joke.
He does have the big pussy joke.
Boy, you got a big pussy. Boy, you got a big pussy. Why'd you have to say it twice? I didn't. Because of the echo.
But yeah, no, and that's the thing. It's like there's so many elements to this to succeed. I'm not going to say match Marvel because they got so much.
There's no
matching what's been done with what they've done.
This should never be a discussion.
It shouldn't. It's
it
over.
Literally should be like, let's figure our own thing out and do it. Yeah. Let's bring some. J.J. Abrams was the worst person to oversee this.
Yeah.
To come in to do DC stuff, it's like he. Where are the Star Trek and Star Wars franchises after he was done with them? You literally had to bring in, like, Star Trek is like on pause because, unfortunately,
that last movie was so good.
You know, and it's funny because some people don't like it, but like
I liked it. Such a Star Trek movie.
Yeah, that might be the problem. Like people don't want a Star Trek.
Like Star Trek 1 and Star Trek 3 are Star Trek movies. And Wrath of Khan, that's when he went full retard. That movie. I mean, I'll still watch it, but it's not even close to quality.
Like they're like almost at the point with that trilogy from Star Wars where they don't want to, like, they want to rewrite the history.
Yeah.
They literally had to take a breath and go, okay, JJ, you're the fuck out.
Yeah.
And the guy that built Marvel, you come in here. Yeah. The guy that jump started Marvel, Favreau, will you please come in here? And they've consulted Feige, and he might even be involved with one, or he might not.
And they consult George Lucas.
In
the Star Wars stuff. Sorry, Star Trek.
I'm saying in Star Wars. Well, I went to Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
In Star Wars,
they tell you all the time.
That Favreau and Filoni have brought Lucas in, like arms wide open. But I think there's I don't know, I can't speak on it, but I feel like there's a war going on in Lucasfilm, and the fallout may be you losing Favreau and Filoni at some point because. What's her name? Kennedy.
I hate her so much.
She's against everything they're doing.
I hate her so much.
And Disney's I don't know if it's a contract or they are afraid of the PR or what. They're afraid to just tell her to get to stepping.
I hate everything about her.
But really, since George is gone, and not that George's stuff was that great, but since George is gone, the prequels they're not that great. But
no.
But by the third one, it's much better than the first two.
Ain't saying a lot, buddy.
No, like I said, low bars. But since she's taken over, the JJ decision was terrible.
Yeah.
And the two off trilogy movies I thought were the best ones, and it was probably because
one by complete accident. It looks like.
Well, Rogue One.
Actually, both of them by complete accident because even
Solo, I really would be interested in what the Lord, whatever that team that was doing but it feels like it would have been way too jokey.
Both those movies, man, there were so many hands on so many. It's just like what was it supposed to be? Now with Rogue One, it's like, oh yeah, I'm so happy. I
love that every time I see it, I like it more. Solo, I think you brought Ron Howard in, and that's what he does. He could put together a competent movie.
Yeah.
He would have been better to bring into Justice League than Joss Whedon, I think.
Oh yeah.
He would have made he would have put it together.
Because he wouldn't have cared about the Marvel DC thing. He would have went, what do I have here? How can I make a good, competent movie out of this?
Right. Plus I don't know that he's it's weird. I don't know. Maybe not being so tied. Such a comic book guy.
He'll make decisions.
He might have made a better.
He'll make
choices.
Decisions based off what the past says.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, he would have made a Justice League movie that would have been more in tune with your thoughts.
I don't know
because he would have brought in people like you would have well, what does Batman usually do?
Yeah,
well,
I don't
why
know.
Is he doing
I don't
here?
know. I'm saying that Joss is more likely to do that because he's the comic book guy.
Well, that's not what we got.
Well, but again, like I'm saying,
yeah.
He wasn't allowed to start from zero.
Yeah, the best thing Whedon did, the best scene in the entire movie that I still pop for is the Aquaman scene where he's sitting on the lasso. That's the best scene, man. That's okay,
But I enjoy those injections of humor and lightheartedness that I think Zack Snyder's allergic to.
Absolutely.
It's really a component of what makes Marvel work.
Yeah. Oh no. Especially when you get,
because those are the moments that show the heart of a character.
Yeah,
show a like again, that exposed more about Aquaman than anything else, because he's sitting on a rope telling his truth.
Yeah,
and he's exposing his soul and like his fears and his whatever, and it's the genuine. It's the only dose of genuine Aquaman you get.
Can I say? Can I say? Very. This is probably going to be controversial. The one character that I think Zack Snyder got spot on, and it's only because of the source material he pulled it from, and that Whedon just fucking. I mean, if you drop the ball any fucking harder, and that was Batman. Because Snyder wanted Frank Miller Batman. And you can say all you want about fucking Dawn of Justice. We got fucking Frank Miller's Batman. But Whedon almost tried to get... I don't even know what the fuck he was trying to do. But Batman in that movie, in Affleck, it was just... God, it was so cringy.
I think he needed to tone it back. I think you had a Batman that was like killing people and stuff, and you just, it was something...
And you can pull back a little bit, but you have to... Because that version of this character is this gritty, angry guy. Now, he's going to pull back for the greater...
But how is he less gritty and angry or more gritty and angry when he's in his 40s compared to his 20s? You know what I mean? This isn't like Mom and Dad are a raw wound anymore.
Yeah.
This is just now he's addicted.
Yeah.
It's because he's as crazy. I feel like Batman is as psychotic and crazy as any of his villains.
Absolutely.
It's just channeled.
And we saw that in Dawn of Justice, I think.
But my point is, like, is he now just addicted to the fighting of crime? Yeah. And it's not about righting the wrong of his mother and father, because you're talking 20 years later.
And I'm thinking...
That can't be the motivating factor anymore.
And that's what I want to see in the Justice League.
But I feel like I'm deeper than they think.
So we killed Superman. We left off. Superman's dead. You realize you've made a traumatic mistake, and a huge course correction is needed because of what's coming. What Batman are we going to get? And I think that Snyder is going to tackle that way better than fucking Joss Whedon did. And Joss Whedon, let's be honest, was just trying to Whedonize what little bit he could out of what was given to him. And these are directors with two just distinctly tonally, everything about their styles couldn't be more night and day.
Probably including the way they treat people.
100% of the way they treat people.
I think they love Zack.
Everyone loves Zack Snyder. Like you can't,
even though he's, not
like you've never heard a bad word said about the guy.
No, personally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard lots of bad words about his movies.
Yes. But apparently
not that I always
they're
agree
like
with them.
Extremely fun sets and they have great time and all that shit and all that nonsense. Yeah.
But I lump him into the same. He's in that Michael Bay.
Yes, 100%. He comes from fucking commercials and shit. You know? He made one or two movies that made you go, holy, he made Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead. He made 300. And those two movies, like Shyamalan, they sit on these first successes.
I think he's done a lot of movies it's like love-hate. I think a lot like that fucking animated owl movie.
I never saw it.
I mean, it
was an animated owl
Sucker
movie.
Punch. I can watch. I have to turn the volume down, but I can watch that every day, all day.
Yeah. That might be because of the material.
Watchmen is it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So I watch all of his movies. They look great.
Yeah.
What do you want from
me? Listen, visually,
yeah,
it's really rough. That's the thing. It's like Man of Steel, man. There's so many elements and reasons to hate that movie, but fuck, you finally got.
He's got that new. He has a new. Have you seen the ads for the new zombie movie he's got?
Yeah,
it's coming out on Netflix.
Yeah,
it's got Batista in it, and it's like a Vegas heist movie. That looks I'm way more interested in that than the Justice League.
Yeah.
I want to see the Justice League for the fucking... I just think it's going to be another shit show.
It's a spectacle.
I can't wait to see the fucking... I'm out of curiosity, out of slowing down on the highway for the fucking car wreck.
Yes.
I am fucking slowing down for this.
Yeah.
But I'm more interested in the zombie movie on Netflix, which, there's nothing to like... disappoint with. Oh, that's not the way zombies are. Yeah, it's whatever they want to be. It's whatever these characters.
Zombies aren't real, so they can be whatever you want.
Right. Batista's playing some fucking guy that's written the way he wants to write it. He's not playing Batman where it has to be written a certain way. So I can get behind this more, and it'll probably offend me less. Plus, Batista's just become the guy.
Yeah.
For me. Like, I think he's a better actor than The Rock. Actor. I think he's got better range. He's selected better movies to challenge him to be a better actor. Like, he doesn't pick just action fucking movies. He does. I mean, like, I say that as we're talking about him in a zombie movie, but
that'd be great 10 years.
But he
from
does
now.
but he's in like fucking Blade Runner as a character, and he's just acting. He does a bunch of stuff like that, and it's really good.
That would be great. Like 10 years from now, if we're talking to them like Stallone, and we talked about Stallone and Schwarzenegger. They do a bunch of team up movies. That'll be fun.
You've got the three of them. You got Batista, Cena, and The Rock, and I think from the wrestling world, and I think they're all going to find they've all found their fucking.
Cena's big debut here for the Fast and the Furious just got pushed back again.
I think his big debut is going to end up being Suicide Squad.
Now it is.
Well, which is good because
it was supposed to be the Fast and the Furious movie.
What's funny is he apparently did a good enough job to get a spin-off show.
Yeah.
They immediately went to film.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
that's the thing.
That says something.
But that's the thing about those top end wrestlers that work so well in film is there's so much improv in what you do in a ring that and getting into a character's skin and all the things that actors.
Well, being good at doing something live.
Yeah.
Is always going to, if you can excel and be halfway believable doing something live, doing take after take is going to be nothing for them.
Yeah.
It's literally just going to be like expanding your range. You know, like a Cena learning how to fucking cry or be. The problem is these guys sometimes are a little too lunky that even if they were good actors and could cry on command and were believable, their visual size in a scene makes it look funny.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so it's, I don't know. They're just following in the footsteps of the great Hulk Hogan, sir.
Brother. Hulk Hogan wishes.
Mr. Nanny, too.
Wishes he could fucking...
Oh, shit. You ready to live out the rest of your weekend here?
Yeah, I guess.
Next week's going to be big. We're finally going to get some content on the
We'll do some videos. If you can make your dates.
And now at the end of the podcast, remember to share, like, and buy. We don't really have Nerdcast merch yet.
No, but with the Breakfast Club brand that we're under, we have T-shirts, hoodies, caps, and tanks, and they're all at the shop. And if you wait and do not, let me tell you not to buy something immediately. Yeah. But if you go to the website instead of when this airs, but the weekend of, what did you say?
The 19th, 20th, and 21st.
In honor of our new stimulus checks coming, we have the Uncle Joe Stimmy Sale Spectacular, and we will be discounting everything in the shop 14% in honor of our $1,400 checks. And I mean, listen, it's your stimmy. What's 1,400 gonna? I mean, what's 14% off a hat? It's enough to make it worth buying. And it's a small enough of a purchase that you can listen. You're stimmy rich now. You're like why wouldn't you blow it on a hat and a T-shirt? Come on,
you gotta be able. Ben needs to be able to eat tomorrow.
Be a little financially irresponsible with your stimulus, especially if you have a job. If you have a job and this is free money, come on. Yeah. We need a little bit of a. We need a little salt on our steak, if you know what I mean.
I'm buying all baby stuff with mine. So there you go.
I'm paying back stuff I owe. No, I'm probably gonna buy some stocks and stuff. Yeah. Invest in my future.
Ooh, you got a bright one too.
I don't know. I can't tell if it's dark or I haven't opened my eyes.
You're the pup of Wall Street.
Something.
All right.
That's a real. The Wolf of Wall Street, like. The real one is like all over social media these days.
Yeah. He's found himself a second career.
Yeah, I watch some of his YouTube stuff every now and then.
He's fucking smart. People should listen to him.
It's funny because
he's a criminal, but you should listen to him.
Well, he's supposedly not anymore. He knows what not to do now.
Yeah. He knows how far to take it.
Leo did a good job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he really nailed him.
He's not an Oscar winner for nothing.
He nailed him. All right. Well, I think that's it. We didn't talk about the aftermath of WandaVision, but I feel like. We can do that. Next week's going to be big because I think we're going to watch those reaction videos, but I think we'll do in-depth talks on this for both.
Because there's a lot about WandaVision I guess we didn't get a chance to that came out after the fact. So we'll dive into that.
Yeah, I thought the most interesting thing was a lot of the backstory on the director that did the whole show.
Yeah.
I'll just drop this, that he apparently they usually don't have one director direct a whole season, but he did, and apparently he's done everything from theater to, so he was ready for this. He's done TV, he's done Game of Thrones, he's done sitcoms, he's done everything. But the most interesting thing about him was that when he was a kid, he was so into comic books that he used to make his own costumes and go to school every day dressed up as comic book characters until he was told not to anymore by the school.
That's fantastic.
So you knew you had the right guy for the job.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, for any comic.
Top that, Zack Snyder. Where's your fucking resume?
Oh, my
piece
goodness.
Of shit.
We'll see you next week.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.